Hi, you're listening to Screen of the Crime.
I'm Tess.
And I'm Maggie, and this is a podcast where I talk about true crime.
And what would happen if your favorite TV and movie characters committed those crimes?
So, it was chilly today. It was like 42.
Yeah.
It's cold. Happy fall. So a couple updates. We have a Facebook page now, at Screen of the Crime, real easy to find. It's got links to all of the ways to listen to us, which if you're listening to us right now, you obviously know one way. But it's got more ways.
Yeah.
Also, we have a Patreon, at Screen of the Crime. We don't have any patrons, and I would really like some patrons. And we're college students, and we rent a mic every week. So sometimes we can't get the mic, and then we can't record. And that's sad. And I know most of our listeners are also college students because I forced them to listen. But $1 a month is not going to break your bank. So maybe get on over there.
Yeah.
Love us.
It's definitely, the content you get is it's worth more than $1. But
Yeah.
that's the minimum you can get it for.
I would hope we're worth more than $1. Mm-hmm. I'm not a cheap hooker. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So, Maggie has been telling me to not peek at her notes all day, and I'm like, I need to know some information so I can like pick something to pair it to, but I really truly know nothing about this.
Yeah, which is crazy because it was like really popular and BuzzFeed did stuff on it, and I know Tess is a hoe for BuzzFeed, so I don't know how she doesn't know about it.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not like that big of a hoe for BuzzFeed. Like, when did this case happen?
Well, it happened in 2015, but I know that it became like really popular like a couple months ago.
Huh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. We're drinking hot chocolate, by the way.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's so good. Oh my god. Yeah, it's just a cozy night.
Yeah, I got a sweater on. I got a weight blanket on me.
Yeah, a 20-pound blanket.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, let's start with the case, shall we?
Yeah, this seems like it's gonna be a long one.
It's only 3 pages.
Oh.
So, I can talk fast. Anyway, this is the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard. So, let's do this. So, Dee Dee, named Claudine Petre, I probably pronounced it wrong, but I call her Dee Dee the whole time, so it doesn't matter, was born in Louisiana in 1967. That was a year after my mom was born. Fun fact. Now you know her age. Relatives said that she would occasionally engage in petty theft, often in retaliation of when things didn't go her way. Didn't we all? At some point, she worked as a nurse aide, and the family expressed suspicions after her mother's death, which was like a lot later, that they might have killed her by denying her food. When she was 24, she became pregnant from a guy named Rod Blanchard. He was 17, which is odd.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was, like, a minor.
Yeah, technically illegal, but okay.
Yeah. They named their child, who was a girl, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. The name came from, since Dee Dee liked the name Gypsy, and Rod, being the 17-year-old he was, liked Guns N' Roses.
Oh, God. That's crazy, but okay.
Shortly after Gypsy's birth in July of 1991, they broke up, and Rob said later that he got married for the wrong reasons, and that's why they divorced.
Mm.
But Dee Dee kept the last name, Blanchard. So, a little about Gypsy Rose. Gypsy suffered from leukemia and muscular dystrophy starting at age 8, which is sad. She had to stay in a wheelchair and had feeding tubes for nutrients and medicine. In between hospital stays, Gypsy and Dee Dee got flown across country to see concerts, meet celebrities, and go to Disney World through Make-A-Wish Foundation because of her conditions.
Yeah.
Gypsy gave speeches about her conditions, and her family received a lot of gifts and cash donations, including country music star Miranda Lambert.
Wow.
I know. Gypsy really liked Disney movies, and her favorite was Tangled. She was about 5 feet tall, she had glasses, she was super skinny. She sometimes had an oxygen tank. Dee Dee would tell people that her daughter had a lot of conditions, including chromosomal defects, epilepsy, severe asthma, hearing and seeing problems. Gypsy was friendly, and her voice was high and childlike. Dee Dee would also remind people that her daughter had brain damage as a child and had the mind of a 7-year-old, even though she was physically 18, or it doesn't matter because she had the mind of a 7-year-old the whole time. So they lived in Louisiana, New Orleans area. And when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005, it ruined their apartment that they were staying at. So Dee Dee said that Gypsy's medical records, including her birth certificate, had been destroyed in the flooding, so they didn't have anything to transfer over when they moved. So they moved to Missouri, and they rented a house in Aurora in the southwestern area of the state. With their time there, Gypsy was honored with the Olay Foundation Child of the Year for 2007, which advocates for the rights of feeding tube recipients, which is super specific.
Yeah, that is.
Which is odd. In 2008, Habitat for Humanity built them a small home with a wheelchair ramp and a hot tub.
Ooh.
Super fun. And the story of a single mother with a severely disabled child forced to flee Katrina's devastation got local media attention, and the community pitched forward to help them. So, they became popular after Hurricane Katrina hit.
Yeah, now that you're saying this, it does seem kind of familiar. Like, yeah. A little bit. But still, I don't know what's going to happen next.
All right. So, the murder. On June 14th, 2015, a Facebook post was made on Dee Dee and Gypsy's shared Facebook page, which is still up. It's kind of creepy. The first post read, "That bitch is dead," followed by another post 17 minutes later saying, "I fucking slashed that fat pig and raped her sweet innocent daughter. Her scream was so fucking loud, LOL."
Okay.
Yeah, that's really fucked up if I do say so.
Wait, who posted it?
So it was on their account. So it was like either Dee Dee or Gypsy would have posted it.
Yeah.
So what happened was the first post, which you can still see if you go on the account, which reads "The bitch is dead," came up, and the neighbors and followers were like, "That's odd. That doesn't seem like Dee Dee would post that."
No, it doesn't seem like anyone would post that.
And they're like, maybe they're talking about a movie. And the bitch died. I don't know. Like,
yeah, like some sort of quotable thing.
Yeah. But then 17 minutes later, the next post, which is disturbing, was posted, and then her neighbors were like, that's weird. And so they called the police, and the police went to the house, and they found Dee Dee lying on the bed face down in a pool of blood from stab wounds that had killed her several days earlier.
Oh.
Yeah. They thought Gypsy had been abducted because there was no sign of her, but her wheelchair and the van that they had that was like special for her wheelchair was still there, and her medication was also still in the house.
Mm.
And because a Gypsy can't walk on her own, they're like, even based on the post, it seems like she was abducted.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Gypsy Rose's childhood. So Dee Dee's nephew said that Gypsy's birth might have been slightly premature, affecting the development of her skull, and that's why she had some issues. When Gypsy was 3 months old, Rod, her father, said that the mom was convinced the infant was suffering from sleep apnea and began taking her to the hospital. But no condition was ever found of sleep apnea, which is when you stop breathing.
Yeah.
Sleep. Yeah. Rod claimed that Dee Dee thought Gypsy suffered from a lot of health issues, including the unspecified chromosomal disorder, which would be like autism.
Yeah.
When Gypsy was 7 or 8, she was in a motorcycle accident with her grandfather, who had a motorcycle, which is pretty cool.
Who takes
a 7-year-old on a motorcycle? I don't know. And suffered a knee injury, which her mother said was a visible sign of injury that would require several surgeries, and from then on, Gypsy was confined to a wheelchair. Gypsy stopped going to school in 2nd grade, and her mother homeschooled her because her conditions were so bad. In Louisiana, Gypsy and her mother lived in public housing, and paid their bills with, I have a lot of typos in my notes. It says, and aided their bowls, and paid their bills with public assistance, and Dee Dee had been granted, the public assistance Dee Dee had been granted due to her daughter's medical conditions, and they also got money from Rod for child support.
Yeah. Which
is nice of him. Rod was a good father, even though they got divorced.
Uh-huh.
He was like a good man. He like called them and stuff. They spent most of their time visiting specialists, mostly at Tulane Medical Center.
Tulane.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I mean, it didn't really matter, but just because it's there for the people.
Stop reading my notes, Tess. But Tulane Medical Center and Children's Hospital of New Orleans, seeking treatments for the illnesses Gypsy had, this including hearing and vision problems. In a podcast I listened to, they spoke about, because she had a feeding tube, but she had, like, all these teeth problems, like, her teeth were, like, falling out because she was malnourished, and, like, she was only getting, like, nutrients from, like, a feeding tube and, like, liquid stuff.
Yeah.
And it really sucks.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her. Dee Dee insisted that Gypsy had muscular dystrophy, and that's why she couldn't use her legs. And Dee Dee told doctors that she had seizures, that Gypsy had seizures every few months, and they prescribed Gypsy anti-seizure meds, so she took those. And then Gypsy went through several surgeries during her time in the hospital. Yeah. So, Rod had called Gypsy on her 18th birthday and recalled Dee Dee saying that he can't mention Gypsy's real age because Gypsy thought she was 14, even though she was 18.
Weird.
Yeah. The police, so this is back to 2015.
Yeah.
The police found Gypsy the day after they found the mother in Wisconsin.
Huh.
So, Gypsy had expressed romantic interests in men for a while.
Yeah.
Because she was 18, and people do that. And Dee Dee never let her act on them. So, like, Gypsy liked going to science conventions because she was a nerd. And one time, Dee Dee found Gypsy in a hotel room with a man she had met at the convention, and Dee Dee freaked out and said that she had to go home. But Gypsy continued to try and meet men. She had snuck onto the family computer in the night to avoid her mother's suspicions, and she made contact with a man named Nicholas Gojon, on a Christian singles site.
Yeah.
Single and ready to mingle. They held an online relationship, even had a Facebook page saying that they were dating. It was like a ship name. It had her name and his name, like, mixed together.
That's fun.
It's cute. Gojon had some issues of his own, though. He had a criminal record for indecent exposure and a history of mental illness. The article I read stated that it was either multiple personality disorder or autism. But we had this conversation earlier about multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Which is now called dissociative identity disorder, or DID.
And it's dissociative identity disorder, DID, is actually very disputed. I don't know what the official term is, but, like, in the, like, high-ranking psychologists that, like, kind of write the DSM and stuff, yeah. I think it's, like, some of them don't really think it's an actual thing. They think it's a symptom that would go along with schizophrenia. And then others think it is, like, its own other thing, and then some people don't think it exists in, like, the way people describe it, because it's so rare and there's so few, like, actual confirmed cases of it.
And it's hard to confirm cases, because, like, people could be lying, or they could, like...
Yeah.
Not know. But there have been, like, really cool things in psychology that I learned in my class, that, like, people's eye colors change or their body temperatures, like, change if they switch personalities. Like, there haven't been that many cases, but, like, they can record, like, your, like, normal body temperature, and it would be, like, one temperature, and then when you switch personalities, it's, like, you run hot or something.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like, there's some physical think that changes. Which would, I mean, because, I mean, the thing is with that, it's like, it's probably, I mean, unless someone else points it out, like, you have no idea that it's happening.
Yeah, and
the
idea with DID is, like, it comes from trauma. So, yeah, like, switches. So you wouldn't know you were switching. So, like, in a lot of cases when people are like, oh, I have DID, meet my alters, it's like, that's unlikely.
Yeah, because you wouldn't know...
about your alters.
Yeah, you wouldn't know about them.
Unless, like, a person told you about them.
Yeah. So, that's a small psych. I mean, this definitely seems like a case that involves a lot of psychology.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
We haven't even really gotten into, like, the suspects and, like, kind of minds of it yet. Like, the mom is interesting to me. Just kind of, like, her level of overprotection. Because, I mean, didn't you say that, like, the mom, she kind of, not, like, fakes illnesses, but, like, thinks her daughter has more than she does?
Yes. So, yeah, the mom, Dee Dee, has Munchausen's. And so this case is about Munchausen's by proxy because... So what Munchausen's is you pretend that you have illnesses to get, like, attention and stuff, but it can go as far as, like, actually injecting yourself with something that would make you sick, or, like, harming yourself so that it would seem like you have the illness. But with Munchausen's by proxy, you're not doing it to yourself, you're doing it to someone else, which is, in most cases, it's your child.
Yeah.
So I haven't dropped the ball yet, but Gypsy doesn't actually have any of these problems. She had Munchausen's by proxy, so she was never actually sick. Her mom was just making her pretend she was. And through all the surgeries and stuff, she obviously got sick, but, like, she never actually had these illnesses. It was just for, like, attention.
Wait, so she never had... Did she have leukemia, though?
Let me get into it, Tess.
Okay.
You're jumping ahead.
Sorry, I'm confused by what you said.
We're only on page 2.
Okay, just continue, because now I want to know.
All right. So Gypsy and Go John flirted online, and their exchanges had BDSM elements.
Holy shit.
Sexy. God, I hate it. He got a lot of backlash when their relationship came out because they thought he was taking advantage of a mentally ill girl, which he wasn't. But, like, how it looks, it seems like he was flirting with the girl with the mind of a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And exchanging BDSM thoughts.
Mm-hmm. But, like, she doesn't have that mind.
No.
It's just, people think she does.
So, they met up at a convention in Springfield, and Go John says that the first time they met in real life, they were supposed to, like, bump into each other and, like, spark a relationship so that the mom would think it would be, like, real and that they didn't flirt online for a long time.
Yeah.
But Gypsy just led him to the bathroom and they had sex. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, she never introduced him to her mother. The cops were able to track the IP address from the Facebook post to Go John's computer in Wisconsin. Because he's not a hacker. And that's when they found Gypsy. She was able to walk and seemed like she had no problems that her mother had claimed. But when they met online, they actually planned to kill Dee Dee. So that was all their plan.
Huh.
So they planned this murder. So here's how it went down. Go John came to Springfield while Gypsy and her mom were at a doctor's appointment. After they came home, Dee Dee went to bed. Gypsy let him know and he came over. Gypsy allowed him in and gave him duct tape, gloves, and a knife. She later claimed that she didn't think he would actually kill her. But he did. Go John told Gypsy to hide in the bathroom and cover her ears. And then he stabbed Dee Dee several times in her sleep. And then they had sex in Gypsy's room.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that either. And then they took $4,000 cash from her mother and they fled. They mailed the murder weapon to Go John's home to avoid being caught with it.
Oh.
But I feel like they could just throw it out, you know?
Yeah.
And then they took a bus there. Many people said that they saw Gypsy wearing a blonde wig. Because Gypsy was bald. She had a shaved head due to her leukemia.
Yeah.
Or she had no hair due to her leukemia. So she just put a blonde wig on. Later, Gypsy grew concerned that the body hadn't been found in like several days. So she urged her boyfriend to make the Facebook posts.
Mm-hmm.
So GoFundMe was set up to pay for Dee Dee's funeral expenses. And Gypsy and Gojon surrendered and were taken into custody under charges of murder and felony armed criminal action. Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott had warned that, quote, things are not always what they appear. And then he came out and the truth was out. Gypsy was never sick, had always been able to walk, and her mother made her pretend otherwise using physical abuse to control her. So no, she never had leukemia.
How the fuck did she, fake that, though?
Well, okay, so it started when she was really young, 8.
Yeah.
And so with the no hair, she just shaved her head saying, it's gonna fall out through your treatments. And then...
But, did she actually get treatments?
Yeah. She got treatments for everything that she didn't have. And some doctors were suspicious, but I guess they never had any reason to question that the mom would be lying.
But, the mom can't... how did she get treatment? I know you don't have the answer to this, but, I'm so confused as to how she would actually be able to get treatment.
When she went to doctors and she was like, my daughter has leukemia, and I know you obviously test for that, but her guys was that all her medical papers were destroyed in flooding during Katrina.
Oh, so it's
so they didn't have any medical records or her birth certificate or anything.
But so they didn't she was oh, she's already been diagnosed, so can you
just continue the treatment?
Oh, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. But damn, that's pretty fucked up though, to make someone who doesn't have that go through that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
she was a lot of crap happened to Gypsy. And she couldn't get out of her wheelchair even though she could walk the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not condoning murder, but in this case it's
yeah.
I can see why she would get pushed to it.
And she was forced to act like a 7-year-old even though she had the capabilities of an adult. She knew what was going on, and her mom was no, you have the mind of a 7-year-old. And it came from when she was so young that she didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And she was you're right. And probably with the leukemia and stuff,
mm-hmm.
There's an episode of Shameless when the dad tells Carl that he has cancer and just shaves his head, and Carl's I guess I have cancer now. She probably didn't know that when they started shaving her head at 8, she was just I guess I have cancer. Anyway, so the trial began, and because Gypsy had been abused for all those years, she got a lot of sympathy.
I mean, yeah.
Obviously. They said that they would not seek death penalty for either of the two, and Gypsy secured a plea bargain for second-degree murder, and she was sentenced to 10 years in prison. But Gypsy was so malnourished by her mom that her time spent in county jail, she actually gained 14 pounds when most people lose weight.
Oh my god.
And she's living her life. She's having a better time in jail than she did at home.
I mean, yeah.
And Gojon faced more charges because he actually killed Dee Dee.
Yeah.
But they found out that his IQ is 82, which is below average, and that he was on the autism spectrum. So he got less time for that.
Yeah.
And that's my case. Any questions?
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I mean, you told me it was going to be, but I mean, it's very interesting. And I think my pair for this, because I was not sure what to pair with this, and I think that I am glad with what I did just because of the mood of it. Mm-hmm. So, my side of this, I am pairing this case with Bates Motel, which Bates Motel is a show that it came out in 2013, and there's 5 seasons. I think, the 5th season was the last one. But it is kind of like a prequel to Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, but it kind of is way more in depth. It's a modern take, and
it's set in the present day.
Set in the present day in is it Washington or Oregon? I think it's
Oregon.
Yeah, in a town in Oregon, and it's very good. But I think this pairs well because it has a twisted mother-child relationship. So, if you're not familiar with Bates Motel / Psycho, I'll start with Psycho. There's the mom and then the son. the son runs a hotel.
Yeah.
And his name is Norman Bates.
Yes.
And he is, I mean, I think in the movie it kind of paints him as a psychopath, hence like Psycho.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like no spoilers, but this is a spoiler. But I mean, I feel like it's kind of expected.
I think Psycho's old enough.
Psycho's old enough that you should have seen it. The spoiler is that he like killed his mother, and like because in the movie like there's murder, like murders keep happening, and like it's implied in the movie that it's the mother killing people.
Yes.
But the end twist is that it's actually Norman Bates dressing up as his mother.
And killing people.
Yep. So actually, the interesting thing is, because I know you're talking about DID in your case.
Oh, yes.
It's actually similar to this, because he kind of like switches
onto
to his mother.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually, I feel like Bates Motel is probably a better example of what it is, because when he's like Norman, he does not remember being his mother.
That's true. Bates Motel is a good example of DID.
Bates Motel is a very good show, and if you have not watched it, I would suggest you do.
It's got Vera Farmiga in it. Love her. Queen.
She's an amazing actress, and after watching her in this show, like, oh my god. It's of such a good show. And Freddie Highmore is Norman Bates.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Let me just rant a little about some of these actors. It's got Max Thieriot from Catch That Kid. The amazing Disney Channel movie with Kristen Stewart and Corbin Bleu.
Mm-hmm.
Best movie. He's hot. And also, it's got Olivia Cooke from Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. And if you haven't seen that movie, you should watch it, because it's great. And also, Nestor Corbinell has got, like, his eyes look like he always has eyeliner on, and it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Those kind eyes.
Yeah. So, anyway, I kind of explained the basis of Psycho, and it's pretty straightforward. But Bates Motel gets a little bit more in-depth, since it's a TV show and a prequel. So, basically, what happens in Bates Motel, it's a prequel to Psycho, and it sets up the story, and it gets really deep into the background of Norma Bates and Norman Bates.
The mother
relationship.
Daughter. No, mother-son.
It's a mother-son, but
sorry.
Close enough. So, basically, Norman, I keep wanting to say the actor's name, but Norman is very overly attached to his mother.
But his mother's also overly attached to him.
Yeah, they're kind of both overly attached to each other, but I think you kind of see that the relationship, it gets deep into it, like, from childhood, because Norman, in the show, killed his father.
Yes.
Defending his mother. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like, and his father was, like, abusive and stuff like that. So his mom would be like, oh, it's just like us against the world kind of attitude towards Norman. And, like, was very overprotective with him, and, like, also just, you see this, like, immediately in the beginning of the show, like, they move to a new place, and she doesn't let him do anything, like,
doesn't let him hang out with girls.
She gets extremely jealous if he's hanging out with girls, which is similar to,
Dee
like,
not
Dee Dee.
letting her daughter hang out with men.
Yeah, and the reason why Dee Dee and Norma, I feel like, have a similarity is because they kind of are, like, faking things and, like, putting that on their child, but without them, like, being able to know better, like, because of, like, her young age, she really couldn't, like, until she got older, she couldn't really think about it, and Norman, because of his just, like, such strong attachment, like, he just doesn't know. He can't, like, say no to his mother.
Yeah, because it's his mom, and, like, I know that in the show, Norma is always like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
And, like, she, like, manipulates him like that.
Yeah, she's very manipulative, and, like, that kind, it's just, like, it's all manipulation with these two things. Mm-hmm. So, I think, now, Norman in the show, murders his mother. That's kind of, like, the end of...
Spoilers if you haven't seen the show.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of an implied thing that everyone knows is going to happen.
True.
Like, if you know anything about Psycho, then you know that it will eventually happen. Because, like, I started watching this, I knew what was going to happen, but I think the fun of the show is getting into, like, the other characters and, like, the backstory and stuff like that.
Yeah, but isn't she, like, killed off in, like, season 2?
No, I think it's, like, season 4.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I watched a lot more than I thought I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he, like, kills her with CO2, right?
Yeah.
He gasses her.
Yeah, it was a very creepy scene because
He sings Mr. Sandman.
Yeah. Because, well, I think actually what happens is he wants to kill both of them.
Yeah,
himself
he's
and
also there, but he ends up not dying.
He ends up not dying, yeah. So, anyways, let's just get into it. So, obviously, I mean, Norman is fucked up from an early age because of, like, his father. There's just a lot of very creepy scenes when they do flashbacks.
Yeah.
But, basically, I mean, the manipulation between them, Norman is just, like, his mom's bitch, basically. And will do anything. And it's very obvious. So, I think, like, eventually, I mean, it's kind of, like, hard to compare and contrast because he does kill his mother, but, like, I'm gonna do it in an alternate way where he kind of, like, becomes more self-aware. Because he does slowly get more self-aware, but, like, not in, like, I want to kill her out of spite and, like, have me live my own life way. Like, it's a weird kind of, like, thing that happens.
So what we're saying is that Norman is Gypsy Rose.
Yes.
And
Norma is Dee Dee.
Who is Nicholas Gojon?
The boyfriend?
Yeah, that's the boyfriend.
Emma, I guess. Emma...
Makes sense, yes.
'Cause...
My poor cystic fibrosis girl.
Yeah. She is a character that lives in the town, and Norman goes to high school with her. And they kind of hang out a bit. Like, she's into Norman, but Norman really, like, is only into his mom. So, R.I.P. to her.
God, I hate that.
She ends up getting with Norman's brother.
Dylan,
who's a wonderful, like, the only normal person in that show.
Like, I mean, even though he, like, sells drugs and stuff, it doesn't matter because
I feel like
so
Dylan,
sweet.
even though it's weird, like, Dylan is, like, the dad of the story. Rod, yeah, like...
Yeah, he's a good guy, but he, like, doesn't know what's going on this whole time.
Yeah.
But he like, wants the best. Because I know he wants the best for Norman. Like, because at the end he tries to get him out, doesn't he?
Oh, he is always trying to get Norman out of there.
Yeah, he's like, Norma's not good for you.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
He's like, he's trying to encourage him to, like, not be controlled by his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So. But Norman just does whatever she says.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, impossible. But yeah, so I think eventually Emma would probably start the conversation versus Norman.
So Emma would come
Emma
in
would
and
encourage the murder.
Be like, Norma's taking advantage of you. We should take care of her.
Yeah. And, I mean, the weird thing is, like, Norman isn't a super, like... I mean, I guess... No, there is a scene where he has sex on the show, I think.
Yeah, he has sex with that blonde girl.
Yeah, but, like, he's not, like... I don't think he could be, like...
Unless that was fake. That might have been fake. Was that in his
No, I think that happened.
Her name was Bradley, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. So I think, like, he wouldn't be as motivated by, like, pure lust, but, like, I think he would care about her enough that, you know, want to...
Well, also, like, I mean, Gypsy and Gojon, like, they had a sexual relationship, and I know what I was looking up, like, when they met in person, like, I think it was Wikipedia, but it was, like, Gypsy wasn't really into Nicholas as much as, like, she thought online.
Oh.
But she, like, still continued to have an online relationship with him.
Yeah.
So if you're having an online relationship, it's obviously not all about sex.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, like, Emma would probably begin the plotting. And so Norman and Emma would be just plotting murder.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they definitely, I think, for the sake of it being Psycho, to bring back the stabbing, it would be the iconic... I mean, Psycho, if you don't know Psycho, you know at least one scene from it, and that is the black and white shower scene, where that girl's taking a shower, and then a silhouette, like, you only see the silhouette comes in with a knife and is stabbing her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the most iconic scenes. I actually have some fun facts about Psycho.
Hit me with it.
I know it's not, like, exactly the show I'm doing, but it kind of is, because, you know, Bates Motel is based off of it. So Psycho, when it came out, it was banned a lot of places because it was actually a very racy film.
Yeah.
For its time, and the reason it's in black and white is because they couldn't show blood.
Yeah, I remember.
And
this.
so they couldn't show blood, but if it's black and white, then they could get
blood.
away from it
Yeah.
because it's like doesn't have the same sort of like white, like red on like a white like bathtub kind of thing. And also the shower scene was one of the most complicated scenes to film in that because they couldn't show nudity, so they kind of had to create the illusion of nudity.
So they had to shoot it from like the above boob up.
Yeah, they had to shoot it a lot of times, and it was like that was like one of the longest scenes to shoot. But like, for a film class, we did Psycho. It was our first movie we watched, and we analyzed it so much. But it truly is like an amazing movie if you really get into it. But it's just like the ways that you can get around censorship in movies is quite iconic, and Alfred Hitchcock was very good at that.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, but back to the story. Emma Norman kills the mother in the shower at the motel.
So here's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because if Norman is playing Gypsy does not kill her mom. So I'm thinking Norman bitches out right at the end. He's like, I can't do it. I can't kill my mother in that like shitty American accent that Freddie Highmore does.
Yeah.
And then Emma has to take over and do it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Emma does it. And, I mean, it would kind of be like the Psycho murder, but it would be the mother. And then, yeah. So, I mean, like in the case, I do think they would turn themselves in pretty quickly because I don't think they genuinely would have, like, a plan to go, like, off and do something. It's like, I think it was just pure, like, anger. So, but he's still so attached to her that it's like, oh, I have to confess this and do something. So, yeah. I mean,
he's not good at lying.
No, he is terrible at lying.
She would confess right away. He'd be like, I killed her.
Well, especially considering the fact that, like, after his mom dies and, like, in some of the scenes, like, before he goes, like, full-on crazy and is, like...
Yeah, when he digs up her body.
Yeah. But, like, before that, he, like, sees her in visions and stuff, so I think, like, that would also add to it, like, oh, you have to tell people that you killed me kind of thing.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Because she's just so engraved in him, like, her bullshit, that it's, like, you know. So, yeah. But, I mean, the psychology of this is all very interesting, because, like, I mean... It's just interesting, like,
It's crazy how people's minds work.
Yeah, well, it's crazy how some people are just, like, so good at manipulating people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a wild time.
Yeah, it is a wild time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was doing some research, and there's a movie that came out in 2012 called Hitchcock, and... When you were talking about the shower scene, I know there's a scene from it when it's like a fictional movie. It's got like actors in it.
Yeah.
But there's like a scene over dinner when they're like talking about the shooting of like the shower scene and how they're like trying to get it across. And that's what I knew it from. Anyway, I heard it was a good movie.
Oh yeah, that's
got that British girl in it, Helen Mirren.
Oh,
and Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, that's lovely.
Scarlett Johansson.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, we should watch that.
We should watch Psycho. It's honestly so good.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, if there's ever a case where I kind of think Bates Motel and Psycho almost are, like, they're kind of the same thing.
Well, they're the same story.
They're the same story, so I think I probably used up Psycho in this episode, but...
Yeah, can't use it again.
Can't use it again, but I'll always love and protect it. It's just so good.
It's iconic. The first Hitchcock movie I saw was Birds. And I was so scared of birds for the longest time after that. Because there's like a gas station scene when they start a fire. And I was I didn't know birds could do that.
I haven't seen a ton of Hitchcock movies. I saw Rear Window.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, no, my mom's friend was like, oh, you have to watch Rear Window. It's the best ever. And like, I was watching, I'm like, this is honestly very boring. And, not that, like, it's kind of creative because it's like, I think, oh, there was a movie we were talking about the other day, the one with like Shia LaBeouf, where he's
Disturbia?
no, he's in his room and like he can't leave because he's
That's Disturbia.
Oh, that's Disturbia.
With his neighbor, and he's like spying on them. Yeah.
I think that's based on the Rear Window, based on the trailer, because he can't leave his room and then they're spying and they see a murder. Oh, okay. That's what happened. That's kind of what happens with Rear Window. There's like a guy and his leg is broken. Okay. So he's like confined, like he can't move because he has like that big cast. Yeah. And him and this woman who's like visiting him, like there's the people that live across, like they're in like apartment buildings and there's like a little like garden thing and then like they see people across, but they think this guy killed his wife. Okay. So they're like trying to investigate it, but like he's like watching, so but he can't leave, so he's like sending other people out. So I think that Disturbia is based off of Rear Window.
I really like Disturbia, and this is to my friend back home, Dante Amico, who bought me it from like Goodwill or something on DVD as a joke because he knows I like it and he hates it because he thinks it's a shitty movie. It's a good movie. It's got plot twists, and it's good. Okay, sorry. That was my little rant about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. This was a good match. I really liked this match.
Yeah. Well, I think Bates Motel is also super creepy, and it's based on like real stuff, I think. I'm pretty sure there's like the murder case that like also was Leatherface, you know, with the nipple belt. You don't?
Oh no.
Oh boy. Give me a hot second.
Oh god.
What the this is not like I'm sorry, if you Google nipple belt, it brings you to nipple rings, so that's a thing.
Oh.
What's his name? Is it Ed Gein? No, it can't be Ed Gein.
Nipple belt murder. God. What?
We're gonna have to cut some of this out. What's his name? It is Ed Gein. Okay. So Ed Gein, he's like the actual murderer person behind like a lot of movies, including like Bates Motel and Leatherface, because what he did was he had this creepy relationship with his mom. Mm-hmm. And then when she died, he took like her skin and he made like a skin suit that he could wear to become his mother.
Oh god, I dislike that greatly.
Oh, I dislike it a lot. And like when parts of it started to rot, he like would replace it with like other things. So he like dug up graves and he made a belt out of nipples. It's gross. He murdered people. I can't joke about this. But he's also like American Horror Story Asylum, like the creeper guy with like his lamps. That was Ed Gein. He had skin lamps. Okay. He had an apron with like boobs.
That's Zachary Quinto, right?
Yeah, Zachary Quinto.
Yeah.
That's he. Yeah, that guy played it. But like, yeah, Ed Gein, super creepy. I think he only killed 2 people. But yeah, no, he had an apron that had like actual human faces on it. It's like really disturbing. We might get into him later, but he's also like, yeah, he's the guy behind villains such as James Gunn from Silence of the Lamb and Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's crazy. He also had like this weird relationship with his mom. He's like, a lot of movies are made about him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of these, like, so a lot of the murders are like, so I feel like half are like murders of like passion almost. Like that's the term, right?
Yeah.
Murder of passion, where it's like, I think the murder of Dee Dee, I think, falls more into that than like of a serial killer psychopath type.
Yeah, obviously Dee Dee's murder wasn't a serial killer. Like they did it for a reason.
Yeah, it was like
defend.
It was defense and like kind of revenge, but like, because I mean, a lot of the hot buzz out right now because of the Shane Dawson series with Jake Paul is like sociopath, psychopath, and it's like, it's kind of like the hot buzzword for. I mean, because the clinical term is antisocial personality disorder, and it's as with all like mental illnesses and like disorders, there's a spectrum of it. So like, you can have like symptoms of antisocial personality disorder and like not be a full, like...
Like, even if you have it, it is, like, a mental disorder. So you're not, like, going out there and, like, you're not being diagnosed with serial killerism, you know?
And I think, so I believe it's, all serial killers are psychopaths, but not all psychopaths are serial killers. That's kind of, like, the way to think about it. Where it's, like, those people are, like, the extreme case of it. Versus, like, I mean...
the norm.
Like, I think the statistic, it's, like, 1 in 25. So it's a lot.
Yeah, like, a lot of people are sociopaths, but we don't have that many serial killers, so...
Yeah. Because it just, I mean, because again, it's a range of symptoms. Like, it doesn't mean, like, they can't have any, like, human relationships or, like, they're constantly manipulating people. Like, they still can, like, care about people. It just is not, it's like there's just a different level of empathy than, like,
normal, yeah.
Yeah. But
and
again,
it's not like they don't want to care about people. Like, I mean, it's just, like, the way they are.
Yeah, it's just, you know, the way it be.
Sometimes.
As with, like, all mental illnesses. But, yeah, I mean... It just is, like, interesting when you get into these kind of things where it's like, are they a psychopath or is it, like, a murder of passion kind of thing? Because I think Bates Motel, Norman, I think would be more, definitely has more, like, mental issues than Gypsy Rose does. Like, I think Gypsy Rose was very much a murder of passion kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't...
Like, she still was, like, fucked mentally, but, like...
Yeah, but, I mean, she doesn't have any, like... actual mental disorder. Like, it's just, like, years of, like, physical and mental abuse on Gypsy just, like, led to this.
Yeah.
Whereas in, like, Bates Motel...
Like, Norman...
He, like, the show, like, distinctly shows, like, he's got something happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he even has, like, moments when he, like, sees things that aren't there.
Yeah, he definitely has, like... I mean, I don't even know, like... what, like, he definitely has, like, some hallucinations and things like that, which is a symptom of a lot of different things, like, schizophrenia being, like, the obvious one, but, like, it also falls into a lot of different
they never outright claim it, but he does go to a mental
place,
he
does.
Hospital thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, just for, like, I forgot, he does, I forgot what he goes for specifically. Yeah, I think it might be, like, I don't know if he tried to kill himself. He
didn't, I don't think. Because I know the mom was planning it for, like, a while, and then, like, the cop, like, gave her some money or something so that she could get him in.
Yeah.
But I don't think he tries to kill himself.
No, I think he's just, like, having a rough time.
Yeah, he's having some issues.
Yeah.
Because he kept, like, waking up, and, like, he woke up in that field.
Yeah.
And he didn't know where he was.
He kind of, like, blacks out and, like...
Yeah.
Does stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's a good show.
It's a very good show if you really want to, like, watch a good, interesting show. Watch Bates Motel.
Yeah, they're good actors. The only thing that's kind of bad is I have an issue with Freddie Highmore's American accent. It sounds kind of weird.
Oh.
Because he's British.
Yeah. He does kind of have a particular tone to his voice, though.
Yeah, it might not even be the accent. He just kind of talks weird.
Yeah.
But you get over it.
It's fine, though, because Norman is, like, such an awkward, like, person that I think it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so, you can find us on social media, on our Instagram, and our Twitter, and now our Facebook, at Screen of the Crime. You can email us with any suggestions at screamofthecrimepodcast@gmail.com. We're always here to listen. Also, we're now on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Which is fun, because I think that's iTunes.
Yeah, iTunes, on the little podcast app.
Remember, leave us a comment, like us. We need some sponsors. That would be really cool. Imagine if we had a sponsor.
Oh, God.
HelloFresh is a meal service.
Oh. Best Fiends, where are you? Audible. Audible's always has
You know
sponsors.
what I like to do on long road trips? Listen to Audible.
Don't plug them yet until they give us money.
No, this is how you do it. You snatch them in. They're like, we were mentioned? Oh, wow, Maggie really pulled off that Audible ad well.
Yeah.
And then they start paying us.
The Jenna Julian podcast with Jenna Marbles and her boyfriend Julian. Julian has, like, the best transitions into ads. It's so funny. Like, he brings it, like, they'll be talking about, like, a murder, and he's like, well, you know what else murders me? It's, like, this ad. He does seamless, like, ad integration. It's wonderful.
There's, like, that Tumblr post about, like, true crime podcasts with like cannibals, and they're like,
Yeah.
obviously he's never heard of
HelloFresh. Yeah. So, get us sponsors.
Yeah, so like us, leave comments. I know some people that have commented on our Stitcher. That's great. Thank you. But yeah, leave us a like.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.